Today I'm here at Sage Hill Farm, which uses no tractors, no fossil fuels. It's basically pre-industrial market farming. Really, really cool. And it's on about 3 acres here in a backyard, basically. And I think I see the owner here, Spencer. What's going on, man?
Hey, Kevin. How you doing?
Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
Thanks. You got a tool ready for me right now?
Yes, sir. It's our hula hoe.
I love it.
Yeah.
So talk to me. I mean, this is, when we got here, there's houses around. It's a home. It's your home.
Yeah. So I grew up in this house. We've been here for 22 years. About 5 or 6 years ago, we decided to start a farm.
Yeah.
Actually, we didn't decide to start a farm. We started to start a family business. And then as we got going along with everything we were doing, we thought it'd be nice to have a small garden. And that garden became ready to harvest. So we set up a small farm stand. And
is that this right here?
That's this little garden right here.
Okay.
So we started a little small garden right here. And it was ready for harvest. I made $200 that week and I got hooked and I got skilled from there. So within 6 months, I became a full-fledged farmer.
Wow.
And went from there.
And that was how long ago?
That was about 6 years ago.
Okay,
Yeah, so 6
cool.
seasons, yeah.
Talk to me about this.
Yeah.
I mean, this obviously you're saying no fossil fuels, no tractors, so
Yeah.
the tool shed's got to be kind of extensive, yeah?
Exactly. So we were a 4-acre farm. This primarily runs the entire farm.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
no tractors,
Wow.
no fossil fuels. And so a lot of tools that we use things from other growers. So this is called the gritter. And what this does is it kind of standardizes the farm. So what you roll it across your beds. And what that does, you're able to come in and plant at the grid. So it gives you spacing, things like that, which is fantastic.
That's nice.
Yeah. And then another tool, we often use these hoes like this.
I love this guy. Yeah.
I loved it until I got one of these.
Oh, shoot.
And so these are one of my favorite ones. So this is a wheel hoe. And it's very ergonomical. So what you do is you walk behind it and you push and it hoes aisles.
And you come back and forth a bit. Yeah. Kind of like chop at the root level.
Exactly. And it makes it real easy. Instead of with the other hoe, you're kind of on their ground, like bend over like that a little bit. Yeah. This keeps it real ergonomical and real fun to stand upright all day. The other one of the fun tools that we have on our farm too is it's our broad fork.
Yeah.
So since we're a no-till farm, so we do like a minimal tillage, we're just cultivating the top 2 inches. There's no soil inversion. We're using a broad fork to stick the tines in full depth, and we pull back just to give a little bit of aeration
just
down.
Just to light loosen. Yeah. Did you ever till because I'm sure we're going to talk about it, but there's this nice sort of terracing structure. And
sure.
Obviously the soil had to get improved in some way at the beginning.
Yeah.
Did it ever?
Yeah. So in the beginning, what we did is what we wanted to get like fertilization nice and deep. Fertilization meaning like compost, alfalfa, things like that. So we came in and we did an initial till, and then after that we've been very surface level since. And what we found is that every year since then has gotten the return has gotten better, and that's just by soil care. The healthier it's gotten, the better our return has gotten. Everything. So. Yeah.
I want to check out one more tool. What is this bad boy right here?
This is our tine weeder. You gonna hold that?
Look at that.
So what's the fun thing about this guy is on larger scale farms, you usually see these things being dragged behind tractors. Yeah. And basically what you're doing is it's thread stage weeding. So if you have a crop that is planted about 2 weeks, you can come through and drag this. It won't damage the crop, but it'll get all the thread stage weeds. So thread stage would be something that's just germinated and it's got like these little hairs.
You got the taproot and you got maybe a seed leaf or something.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. You drag this through 2 passes and it keeps your beds nice and clean.
No way.
So it's another effective way. So we operate on a standardized 30-inch wide bed. Standardizing the farm was a huge thing for us because it kind of really simplified all the nuances of it. But so this is a 30-inch wide, so it makes 2 passes there and back, and your cultivation's done.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
I think the cool part about the market farming piece is like you talk gardening.
Yeah.
I think of that as inefficient farming.
Sure.
Market farming, you might say, is inefficient monoculture cropping, but for very different reasons, for very logical reasons.
Right.
And so then every tool set is designed for that specific use. I'm never using that, but I don't have 30-inch rows. I've got like raised beds.
Yeah.
Well, let's check out the hillside right here.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, how did you? It wasn't a farm or wasn't a garden or a farm before. So how did you actually build out these sort of nice beds and these nice terraces?
So we came in, we terraced it. As you see, as we moved down the hill, we see a house we kind of started to think bigger. Up here, the first garden here, did by hand. We got, then from here, we got a small tractor, 5-foot wide tractor that kind of terraced in these little plateaus
cleared
here.
those out, And
then as you see, we get down to this larger greenhouse here. This is when we started to really think bigger. And then by the time we got to once we get to these larger plateaus just down here, is when I started to really figure out market gardening and where I wanted to take this. And this is where the plateaus were always designed to be able to fit a 30-foot by 100-foot long greenhouses on.
Sure.
And so to be able to now have this is kind of a big deal for us because we find like in that 6 year moving towards our goals.
So this zone right here, aside from the greenhouse, what I think is interesting is you've got this, you're sort of playing with the curvature of the slope anyways, which would that sort of go against maybe traditional market gardening standardization? Because you can't run it maybe perfectly, but it's still, I think it looks even more beautiful.
So, and that's the thing too, is what we found is this, at the time we were just like, oh, this is what we need, go with the curve, it's terraced perfectly with it, so the water sits in it. Drainage wise, it's great, it's perfect. Ideally, it's the hardest part though, because the curve makes it hard to run rows, run drip lines to keep your frost cloth or insect netting on. There's the bend, the bend makes it difficult. And I understand why people want things straight, because pulling them straight is a lot easier than pulling something around a curve, But we make it work. I think ideally, as we move forward as growers too, I think this might become more of like an orchard style. We're thinking about doing blueberries, and so we're thinking about running this as a whole blueberry in itself, which might be nice too. And these are things that are a little more permanent, long term, less maintenance. So like
high value crop too.
Exactly.
I mean, the berries are going to be paying off for like years and years to come.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, where should we go next?
Sure. Let's head this way. I'll take you to the nursery.
Let's do it. I don't know if you know, I used to sell microgreens myself in like 2013.
Oh, nice.
I grabbed a kit off of I don't even remember where, somewhere online. Like I saw red garnet amaranth, saw the color of it, and I cut it off, called my cousin, we walked La Jolla and sold it to a couple places there. And I was like, like I'm in business. It's kind of the same thing with like the farm stand. You're like, okay, dollars are coming in for this,
Got hooked. Yeah. So one of the cool things about our nursery is that we kind of stack enterprises. So during like early or late December, early January, this is loaded out with our summer crops. So like right now we still have some of our cucumbers. These are going to get transplanted out to one of our tunnels. We operate with peat pots. We found that with the cucumbers, because they're so sensitive that they have a hard time transplanting.
So you go straight in the ground with the pot.
Straight in the ground with them, doesn't disturb the roots, everything like that. But so this tunnel is slammed out in early January with our summer crops. And so it's the only tunnel that has heating, so it has electricity, things like that to it. So we want to see that it kind of stacks enterprise and make sure that it's making money once everything leaves. So what we started to do is we started a microgreen business on top of it. I personally would never do microgreens if I didn't have staff. It is a tremendous amount of work. So my hat goes off to
harvesting, cleaning,
reseeding. I mean, it's every 3 days this process is repeated. It's like boom, boom, boom. It's been a great venture. My staff that do, they do love it, and we have a specialized person that comes in and does it. Like that's her job. And
especially when you're talking like value of crop, like on this table, I don't know if you know off the top of your head, but it's a significant amount of value just sitting here.
Yeah, it's a lot. I mean, I think per tray we're trying to yield just under $20 per tray. And that's hitting our mark. That's
so you got a couple $1,000s worth of produce right here. And this is, these grow fast.
They do.
The turnover's pretty quick.
Every 10 days. But then you're doing it every 3 days for whatever reason.
You just got to check a lot of different things.
Exactly. So, but I mean, it's a fun one to have. It's a great one to start off with. And it's a one of those high value crops.
This though.
Yes.
The standard seed starting, right?
Yeah. So what we do is every 14 days we're reseeding salad, bok choys, beets, things like that. And these things are kind of like our main staples for our farm. Our farm is, we're being small, we have like quick turnover crops. So generally kind of keep things under 70 days, crops like that. This main table here though is a fun one. It's a big, large heat table. We utilize your housing for in-floor heating.
Oh, the radiant floor stuff? No way. Okay,
so
nice.
we ran a radiant floor with 2 pieces of plywood and then ran a pond liner on top.
Nice.
And then just run the heater
water on top of that, no problem.
It's good to go. So it's a real simple way of making like a really large heat mat. And the other thing to do, we run violas, so like edible blossoms, things like that for like chefs and whatnot. It's a great one to have. Our chefs loves it. I
mean, again, like it's wild how much value there is in some of these crops. I mean, I think guys like John Martin Fortier or Curtis Stone in the early days kind of came up with that whole idea. It was like,
100%.
Look, like you can't grow, I don't know, melons for people probably on a market garden and do well. So you got to do this kind of stuff.
Yeah, and it's funny too. We when we started, we went for whatever reason. They say not to, and I still went through it. And I want to try.
Of course.
You got to try it.
You got to learn your own lessons.
You do,
right?
And you do find out, you can't have that. It just takes too long.
Apples or whatever. At least here.
Exactly. Well, it's getting warm, so you want to.
Let's head out. Let's head out. All right, let's see this.
Yeah.
The grand reveal. Look at this. Tomato heaven.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Wow. All cherries right now, or what are you growing?
So we have with our cherry tunnel. So on this side we have a grape cherry tomato or grape tomato, which is a little bit larger than a standard grape tomato. And then on this side we have our standard red tomato, which we actually are just getting our first few blushing out to red right now.
Oh, look at that. Yeah, they're starting to come.
They're pretty early for us. They honestly would be earlier if our winter wasn't as bad. You know, wet winter. Even in the tunnel, it affected us.
Did it really?
Yeah, oh yeah.
In the sense of like...
Just gray days, gray days and the cooler nights. I mean, we had to, I normally don't ever run a propane heater. And I do remember one night in January, I had to literally come down at like 2 a.m. It was like a frost warning. I was like, it'll kill the cucumbers. So I ran a propane heater in here. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So you're training them up single liter and keeping the spacing like a foot and a half maybe or something like that.
Yep. So about 16 inches and then single liter coming all the way up to the top, basically suckering everything out. Normally most growers, what they'll do, which is that these will actually be a 2-head. You'll split them at the bed or at the base to be a 2-head leader, and then your rows are wider. You're operating at like a 40-inch wide row, and then another. So there's less rows in the tunnel, but it's less plants.
I just saw a farm where they'll go double liter and they'll do like a up down sort of tie.
Right. Yep.
So they split them this way and then they space them out a little bit more.
And then the trellising is a little different too when they go to do that. So the trellising is actually split. So you have, instead of having a single line, you would actually split it to where it's 2 lines about 30 inches or less apart.
I haven't seen this setup before where it's like a big long piece of just straight up metal and then just tied to 20 here.
So this is from Neversink's. So Neversink's came up with this system about like farming efficient and things like that. Where he operates, it's called hook and trellis, but it's also a wicket thing that comes with it too. But what these are our hooks. So basically we used to operate with a tomahawk, which are those.
That's what I use.
So Neversink's has this system where it's a reusable clip where you bunny hop. And as you move them down, you're bunny hopping the clips as you lower and lean. So we operate in a lower lean method too. So basically lower lean is like a big carousel. So as the plants grow taller, they're producing more and more tomatoes.
Reminds me of like a dry cleaning setup where everything just spins around.
That's exactly what it is. It goes up, and then as they continue up, you're removing the lower leaves. As the lower leaves remove, you're getting more fruit, everything like that.
Because eventually you'll have a big chunk of stem, big length of stem that's just kind of falling down, going this way.
And there's smaller tunnels we did in the previous years. We have tomato plants that get up to about like 45 feet long, and so one stem. Ideally, the other one starts coming back this way, and it becomes this nice thing.
I've seen that most often in hydro. They'll do it hydroponically, and then you just see like this one tomato plant going this way, and then just a boatload of vines just wrapped. It's super smart. It's really efficient. It's really how to keep the plant producing. So our hopes is that you have a plant that produces for like the next like 7-8 months. And that's the dream. You keep it moving, keep it growing. I mean, ideally in Southern California, you might be able to go a whole year. Depends on what the plants can produce. Great soil, you never know. Because for you, it's got to be one of the most popular crops you're selling.
It is.
Right. So the longer you can keep that season viable, especially as you get into the shoulder months, right? Like the demand probably stays high, and price might stay high too, because who else is going to have it?
Exactly, right? And the idea is too is that with really it's a smart growing, because instead of having a single like head lettuce, you chop it out once and it's done. These plants are here for 8 months. It's now you're just maintaining a crop, and it's producing. Financially, it's giving you money back.
It makes total sense. Yeah. So on the cukes, I mean, they're popping right now.
Yeah. So our cucumbers are going off. We're struggling a little bit. You can see on this side we have a little bit of like soil health issues and problems with that. And one of the main reasons we're having that is actually you can see where we had a mini tunnel over here, and that's where this side it kind of is all producing really well. The soil, we really cared for the soil a lot over there. Here kind of got a little bit of neglect, but these crops they look decent. We've definitely grown better cucumbers. They're still like really tasty if you want to try one. Absolutely.
Yeah. Let's get a bite going.
Snap that in half and give it a go. They're really good. Yeah, some of the best cucumbers ever.
That's really good.
Sweet, very fresh.
That's really nice. What variety is this?
It's a Japanese variety called Nugani. Sometimes I'll forget, but yeah. They're nice.
It's dense, which is nice.
Thin skin, small seed is very nice that way. Ideally, they can get about 16 inches long, so they're really profitable. It's another one of those profitable crops that where you can plant them in the ground and they can produce a ton of produce for you with a single planting. And so it's another one of those crops that we really kind of navigate or gravitate towards is when we're looking at like a business being profitable as a small scale, is that we're looking at something that is can constantly give back with minimal amount of care. The other thing too is what you see right here too is kind of in our greenhouses, we don't use any type of pesticides.
Oh, look at that. You got some ladybugs. Yeah.
Integrated pest program. So we actually purchase ladybugs and other insects like green lacewing bugs, things like that, to kind of do our our pest management for us.
Yeah.
Because I'm not exposed to any pesticides. My family's here. My staff don't want to be exposed to anything. So what we do is we invest in ideas like that, where it kind of push forward, where these things are doing work for us.
Makes total sense. Yeah. Yeah. Because it'd naturally be here in a garden, but this is of course a more protected environment. So you got to reintroduce.
Inside a greenhouse too, what's really nice about it, it's such a controlled environment that you can flush the house with a beneficial and literally wipe out the problem.
Clean them out, right?
And you just over flush it, just purchase a ton, it wipes the house out, open the doors up, they can leach out into the farm, like that. We on the farm too, we have beneficial hedgerows too, so we have flowers and plants of that nature that kind of bring in that kind of pest or bugs for us, which is nice. Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. Well, let's check it out.
Yeah.
It's getting hot in here.
It is.
Yeah, we're out of the hot house.
Yeah.
It's not even that cool out here, but it's just much cooler than there.
Yeah, it's breathable.
So you got some baller rain capture tanks. I was telling you I got about 7,500 gallons here. This is one of these is more than that. So talk to me about this.
Yeah, so we have a 10,000, 8,000 gallon tanks, and one of the things about our farm that's been kind of really cool is the fact that we're on this terrace. So we came up with these ideas that I think other farmers don't really have the ability to. So what we did is we plumbed the entire house for any fresh water that we use in there to drain into these tanks. Same time, the house is guttered. Our mini house up our nursery, we saw the microgreens, that is also guttered for rain catchment. So all these tanks it comes to these, it goes through desilting tanks, so loses the dirt, everything like that, goes into one tank and then into the next tank, and then comes down and goes into our booster and then gets refed back out into our farm.
So this Challenger right here, that's a booster pump?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay.
Or the booster pump is on the left, but then goes pressure tank.
Yeah.
But what's really cool is that, so now the fresh water that we have to purchase for our wash pack facility is now being repurposed and reused back in our farm. So our tomato house here is being reused in there. For our field blocks down here, it's being reused there.
So you're coming out of city for the washroom because you have to.
Because we have to.
And then you're doubling up by putting it into here.
Exactly.
Yeah, makes
so then
sense.
our big rains this year, we filled both tanks up within like 2 weeks. The fact that we had our the microgreen house, the fact that it's plumbed for rain catchment, a ton of water hits it.
Sure.
So the idea is what we want to do is we want to put a reservoir in on top of the property, and then these main houses here, this house here and the other house here, have these as rain catchments.
Yeah.
So this house is a 30-foot by 100-foot wide greenhouse. Now imagine the amount of water that hits that.
So much, because I think it's like something like every 500 square feet, it's like 1,000 gallons per inch or something like that.
Exactly.
Some math like that where like it's thousands of gallons. Yeah.
And so what's interesting about this too, it's a 30-foot wide house, but it took a 55-foot sheet of plastic to cover the whole thing. So even if it's hitting the sidewalls, there's still 55 feet of coverage getting collected.
Yeah, the total surface area, the curved surface area.
Right. So we knew at this point, we're like, okay, we're gonna need a reservoir. So I think the idea is that we're gonna, off this house, and there's actually a third one of this scale gonna happen right down there.
Sure.
Is that those will be our rain catchments that will fill a reservoir up top. And then
so like an open air reservoir, basically like a natural pond.
Exactly.
I guess.
A natural swimming pond, kind of fun for
that'll be cool.
my daughter.
And that'll go back up?
That'll be at the top of the property.
Okay,
so we'll have another booster pump that will pump this all the way back up. Yeah. These are. This was not an inexpensive for us.
When you look at this, you go, that's dollars.
Yeah. It's fun. It's nice to have this though, because we had this water management fellow come out, and he said that he doesn't know of any other farm in San Diego that has this program running where they're reusing their wash pack water.
I haven't heard of it. I mean, it makes logical sense completely, but like the execution of it, I think is the hard part.
And I think that's what our elevation change opens up for opportunities like that.
That's kind of I was gonna say, like the fact that you were in this disadvantageous slope, so to speak, just unlocks something that I think most people wouldn't have even tackled, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
Awesome, dude. I love that. I love that.
So let's walk down. I'll show you the other our orchard area. This is kind of like one of my favorite spots on the whole farm. Up underneath our fruit trees, we have our veggies. Our fruit trees, we have peaches, apricots, and plums. These are all Santa Rosa plums here that we planted last year.
Doing really well.
Yeah, they're doing very nice. So this is also where you can kind of see where we thought we had a kind of an odd corner part of the farm, and we knew that we still needed terrace. So we came in and we did like a double wide terrace, make it a little bit easier for us. One of the cool things that we operate with is insect netting. Insect netting kind of is another preventative method of keeping us away from having to use harmful pesticides or chemicals like that.
And this is all greens here, right, for the most part?
Yeah. So we grow, there's all salad greens, there's beets underneath these. These are daikon, bok choys, and things like that. One of the really cool things too is you see our slopes here. So this is another great way to for weed management, since we don't use any type of herbicides. If you look up here, these slopes up here, they kind of have like an array of different species of weeds, things like that. I came up with the idea that maybe we would choke out our weeds with a dominant species. So I seeded in here a Nulian white clover. And what that does is come through and is actually choked out any other species of weed where it's this single crop of clover.
Yeah.
What we will then do is we'll harvest it, we'll chop it back, and we'll actually use that for compost. And so then we return that into something else. You can also see in the tree line too, we add in, we incorporate birdhouses. And so we use those birdhouses kind of have our benefit. Primarily the insect netting for us now is to stop like rabbits and things like that. When we first started growing, we were having issues with cabbage moth and things like that. And so we would use insect nets, and then I noticed underneath the nets it was getting worse and worse. I'm like, what is going on? So I pulled back the nets in frustration, and within 2 weeks I noticed that the population of caterpillars had diminished.
Right. So birds were just destroying them.
Birds were going haywire. Yeah. So I put in birdhouses, and our problem was fixed there.
There you go.
It was nice.
Yeah. So this is more of mammal netting.
Yeah. Exactly.
Point, right? Yeah. Awesome. Well, what's going on in here?
This is our most recent structure. Okay. We kind of ran into a situation in the beginning of the season where we needed to plant our tomatoes. These are our large slicing tomatoes. We planned to run the same exact system as you saw up in the upper tunnel, but the tunnel wasn't done. So we had to plant everything out, and then we built a tunnel over them.
Got it.
But it's been a fun.
So you will eventually start going. You will go single leader on your slicers as well.
Yeah. So we just set the system up. We just got this literally skinned yesterday. So we just put the plastic yesterday on it.
It's fresh.
Yeah. So the idea is that we'll come back through now and we'll stand them all up. Yeah. But these are our bell peppers. We're gonna do like the Florida weave style.
I was gonna ask, because you're probably not coming down from the sky on that.
A lot of some growers do. Some growers will actually they'll trellis them just like the tomatoes will, but we find it's a complicated one. You got to be a really good grower. What they'll do is they'll splinter it off to 4 heads. And at those 4 heads, then they'll trellis from those 4 heads.
So they go long season, they do a top or a quad top, I guess. Yeah. And then they say like, I'm gonna take my bells 3 to 5 and I'm gonna go like 15 to 20 per plant.
Exactly, Okay. And it's a pretty complicated system, the one that I'm not quite there yet.
Feels worth if you can master it.
Sure,
right? But otherwise, like, I mean, how are bells, just going back to like, you're growing for profit, right? So like, how are bells versus, I don't know, shishitos or something else? Because you just don't get as many, right?
Sure, the bells are more profitable than tomato.
Really?
Oh, sure. Yeah. That
is it per bell pricing?
Per bell. It's per bell, but it's more the popularity of it.
Yeah.
For that and cucumbers and bell peppers, the popularity of them are
just insane.
Yeah. But so these are actually, and what I did with it's a really kind of a fun new variety that we've never grown. It's a Japanese pink tomato. So it's very sweet. Instead of being what I noticed a lot of growers, they go with for the chefs, things like that, they head towards a French heirloom. I had a Japanese fellow, he brought me a tomato. He's like, this is the sweetest tomato you ever have. And I tasted it, it's like, it's more like tomatoes are fruit, but it was more like a fruity flavor.
Yeah.
And then like an acidic tomato.
Sure.
And so I got the variety from him, and I was like,
What's the name of it?
It's a Momotaro.
Momotaro. It's Momotaro? Okay, I've grown that one. Yeah, I've grown that one.
Very sweet.
Yeah, I mean, I've grown 2 of them, not 200, but still, it's very aesthetic. Honestly, even too, which again, that matters in farming, right?
Yeah. And so I'm actually very excited to try these out.
No way, that's rad.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It's cool that you knew it too.
No, I got mine, I think, from Kitazawa Seed back in the day. It was like 3 seasons ago I grew it. But it worked. I mean, it was an amazing, delicious one.
That's good to hear. Good. First time doing it, so I'm nervous.
You can be happy.
Cool. So this is our wash pack facility. One of the really cool things about our farm is it's all on site. So the crew's walking, 20 feet out of the fields back up into here, which is amazing. So everything comes in here, gets wash packed, and then me and my father, we built a walk-in refrigerator right here. So this is our cooler room.
Got the CoolBot set up?
Got the CoolBot. It's a 10 by 10. Pretty nice. I mean, it's really nice.
Take a peek?
Yeah, absolutely. Go on in. It feels really nice in there.
Ooh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Got some, there you go, some beets.
Yeah.
Ready to go.
Yep.
Nice.
So what's really nice too is be able to bring things up, wash them, put them right in the storage, so it keeps them really nice and fresh. So one of the other things to do is we go through a ton of greens. So we do have we do about 400 pounds of salad a week. It's and then during our high season, like summer, when people are eating more, we do about up to 6. A lot of snails.
Little guy right there. Yeah.
So these are our double bubble tanks. So we put the salads in. Are you familiar with bubblers?
I am. Yeah.
So we put the salads in. We bubble them. Go from tank to tank. These are our spinners.
Converted washing machine spinners.
Yeah.
Yep.
So these crank out. spit them out, and then everything gets packed and then placed right into storage. Yeah. So this is our kind of our brain kind of like mapped out. So one of the things that we did was that we broke up the field blocks into field blocks, and so then what we did was we were able to map everything out on the board. So we have lots 1 through 8, and then we have our other property down the road mapped out there too. Which is nice. So instead of like telling someone to go to row 300, you're telling someone to go to lot 4, row 5. You know? And this makes it a little bit more kind of
like grocery aisle style organization.
Yeah. It kind of helps out with that too. Yeah. We got all our tools, and then we have our harvest board. This is our harvest board where cool. Where this goes to like chefs. So these are all our chefs. Restaurants and grocery stores.
So this is a varietals or crop, and then this is a customer.
Yeah. I had it. It was a nice grid.
Yeah.
And then obviously the concept wiped it away, you know. So, but now, so we have all of our chefs up here. You kind of used to.
That's a clever way to do it.
Yeah. And then, so you would see that you have to harvest.
So when you're taking the orders, though, are you taking orders and writing the order on the board and then harvesting to the order?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Got it.
Yeah. So what we'll do is every Tuesday and Friday we harvest the orders. So we harvest on Tuesday and deliver same day.
Okay.
Which is really nice. Our chefs really, kind of like that. It's kind of really helped like push our business in that way too, because it kind of helped us gain customers. The fact that we were able to harvest and deliver same day.
Sure.
So it's huge. But this is also really helpful for staff too. So if you have staff come in, they know exactly what they're getting. So they're half this crew that does a harvest. They know they're getting 60 chard. The other half that's in here that's doing the washing and packing, they know where that 60 chard is being broken up to and who's going to. So it's kind of.
So then you're kitting it when you're washing it. You're like kitting it into boxes.
Exactly.
For that customer.
So right here, this is all green onions. These are going to 2 different chefs. And I think over there we have like nettle, which is like a native weed. We're actually selling to chefs too.
Nice.
Which is fun. So you kind of really getting all that fun nuanced stuff.
Speaking of, let's go to the farm stand.
Yeah, let's go there. Yeah.
All right, so we're here at the stand, which is where people are coming, right? Like a couple times a week, or
So what we do is we open up every Saturday to the public, so people can come out, they can shop on the farm, and they can walk around and see where everything's grown. I think it's really important people can come out and see where it's being grown, because I think a lot of times people have this disconnect of like especially if you're selling at a grocery store or farmer's market, they don't know what the farm looks like. So the being open to the public, that gives them like the ability to see how we're doing it. Because we're doing a real natural method, and that method that I don't think anyone else is doing in San Diego.
I don't think so. I've seen a lot of them. I don't think I was doing quite like you guys.
Right. Oh, thank you. And I'm proud of that too. And I think we're kind of, I kind of want to be in that, that foot going forward, leading the way kind of, and opening the door and showing people that this is something that they can do themselves. There's not a lot of younger people coming into the game, which is kind of like a scary feeling. So it's at the same time, it's like what I want my farm to be a model is that it's not flat by any means.
No.
And so even by not being flat, you can still make it possible.
Well, here's what's interesting to me. Like you didn't start out farming. You didn't have like the advantage of birth, right? Of like growing up in it.
Yep.
You're 5, 6 years deep. You're on the north side of your property, which is not optimal, right? And on a terrace, which again, maybe it is, maybe not. I think you've turned it into an advantage for sure, but most people wouldn't say like that's amazing, right? And you've got like 6, 7 different streams of revenue. You have 4 employees. Like it's working. Right.
And it is, and it's taken time. A lot of headaches, a lot of pain, a lot of like fear of failing, things like that. But honestly, it's possible. And like I said, that's one of the reasons why we started this foundation of Learning Center, because we want to teach people, bring them in and teach people, because people come up with all these questions all the time. Like, how do you do this? How do you do this? And like, how do you make a business? And how are you even succeeding as a business this way? And so I think it's a great opportunity for us to kind of like, hey, I can help you, but I need to be funded. At the same time, there has to be like that, because I can't take time away. I'm a cog in the system. I'm part of the system.
Of course.
Of course. That's another part about farming too, is a lot of people don't understand is that you want to start a farm, you're going to be the farmer.
Yeah. You don't really have a choice.
And so it's, but it's been a fantastic process. It's been super fun. I just had my baby, and so she gets to grow up on a farm too now.
Look at that.
So it's been like this amazing little, story.
That's amazing. Well, dude, thanks for showing it to us. I really appreciate
you coming out. Yeah, great time.
We'll be back, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Hope you guys enjoyed Sage Hill. You can check them out in the description. Good luck in the garden, and keep on growing.